I hope the picture on my screen is same on your screen, and you see my face and my um, browser and to-do list. By the way, let me quickly check it because it's my first stream. I don't know what to expect actually. So if I go to YouTube and I find my video, oh, okay. I see myself speaking, but with a little bit of delay. Hopefully, I will show my whole screen soon. Well, anyway, oh yes, here it is. Okay, you hear myself. Well, that's funny. Um, so what my application is, by the way, here it is. It's available for everyone, and it's also open source. I tend to do all open source projects nowadays. This one especially you can find on my GitHub. It's called Sage. So it's available for self-hosting. You can put it to your home lab, virtual machine, whenever you want. You only need OpenAI API key. The rest is plain simple. I'll leave the link in the description if you need it, but it's quite easy to find, I guess. Okay, so well, that's all you expect from ChatGPT because it's using OpenAI API. So hey, how are you? Simple test. What I'm missing from this current implementation, I think I should hide my bookmarks because they're super secret. So what I'm missing right now is I set GPT 3.5 by default to be a default model in the past because it was much cheaper than GPT-4. But with release of GPT-4 Turbo, price for this model went down a lot and it's much faster now. So I realize I just switch to GPT-4 all the time. And what's the purpose then to have GPT 3.5 be by default? So I plan to work on making this by default. Also, I think this selector is not very obvious, like which one is selected now, a gray one or white one. Like I thought it would be clear, but I was mistaken and people ask me like, so which one is selected now? So I think I'll do a drop down here. So also you might notice if I ask something that requires more time to generate an answer, the answer comes not as a stream on ChatGPT website, but as a whole answer. That was just easy and faster to implement, and I wanted my own app with OpenAI API faster, so that's what I ended with. But um, actually, seeing answer as a stream is much faster and more convenient. So if I, for example, ask it to generate a Docker Compose file for a web app with Node.js, Postgres, and Redis, it will take it maybe a minute, maybe 40 seconds, depend on how long will be the answer and how much of the messages we already have in the chat. So I'd like to implement streaming the answer. It might be either server-side events, which I never tried, by the way. I would be curious to implement that, or just WebSockets. I worked with WebSockets before, especially Socket.io. I'd like to try native socket support that came to Node.js recently, and Ban has it from the start. Okay, so here you see the answer got generated in 35 seconds. Sometimes I even forget that I asked something because I switch tabs and go away. Yeah, what else? Stream the answer or retry on failure. Yeah, my wife complained a lot that like every time she asks a question, it just returns error And I guess just sometimes OpenAI API is busy and it fails to return anything. What we can do is simple retry. Okay. If we have time today, because I don't know how long will it be the stream, maybe an hour, maybe two, maybe three, as long as um I'm not tired, to be honest. Don't be too hard on me. This is my first stream, so I might need to go pee soon, and who knows. Okay, keep track of chats. As you can see here, I don't have any chats history, and neither users authentication. Um, I'd like to do that because what I do now is I open a new tab every time. And if I suddenly refresh this tab, I lost the chat. Sometimes it's inconvenient. Again, this was just a simple app, and now it's time to improve. So if we can separate users by authentication, that would be cool. And that way I can keep track of what user used how much of OpenAI credits. By the way, you might ask, why do I use this app instead of ChatGPT? I'll show you. So if we go to platform OpenAI and I'll log in, let's look at the pricing. It should be somewhere here. Usage. Hello? Well, I can just tell you it takes a couple bucks, $3, $5 per month, depending on how many people used it and how heavy was the usage. Yeah, I don't know why they don't load it. But it's like me and my family using it. GPT-4 without limits, not just 25 messages per hour or 3 hours. I don't know what's current quota is on ChatGPT Plus or Pro, or I don't know what it is called these days. But basically, it's quite cheap to use API instead of ChatGPT app. Yes, I know there are plugins and there is image generation if you use just the app. But, well, I'm cheap probably, and I also wanted just my app. And making image generation is not that hard. I did it in the past. I'm not sure if I posted a video. Well, half an hour has passed. But I will definitely get to that. Okay, let's stop speaking. I don't know why is it not loading. Maybe it will eventually. Let's get to work. So I'll open my favorite WebStorm IDE. Yeah. Sorry if you guys use VS Code, and I mostly use it as a text editor for notes, for to-dos. I just prefer WebStorm. Okay, let's keep it this small. Let's keep it this big. And let me quickly go through the code so you know what's happening, what's all about. So we are using here SwellKit. And SwellKit has roads. Roads has API endpoint. This is just post endpoint with the whole chat, and it communicates with ChatGPT API. I'll show you in a moment. Here I have a Sage function. So the project called Sage. So the function also called Sage. It takes a list of messages, my user ID, which is a fake one now, and the model. That's it. You don't need much when you make a simple app. I have a placeholder function for configuring personas. I want to add more of personas. So sometimes GPT answer is quite long and I want it to be short, like one sentence, yes or no, or am I doing the right thing, yes or no. Okay, what else? Most of this file is related to validate if user input was correct, like moderate it if it was empty or something. Then chat completion is, well, it's the main feature basically. Get the answer from OpenAI for our list of messages. Then I track how long it took. Oops. I did some function calling. Maybe it was in one of the last videos. I kind of forgot. And basically that's it. In the end, I return previous messages, and the new message is coming from role assistant. Wait, this is catch. Yeah, this is in case of an error. I'm not feeling well today. Yeah, so success is actually here. Oh, what's going on with my mouse? Yeah, so you can see role assistant, duration, content. This is my custom type for a message. And in the bottom, you can find some call function calling. I previously integrated DALI OpenAI or OpenAI DALI API to it, but version 2 or version 1, which one was previous one, sucked a lot. I'm curious to try version 3 or whichever is current one, because that one should be quite good. Okay, that's basically all the functionality. I have some URL shorteners for images generation, but the front-end code is plain that simple. This screen you can see on the left is basically all here. Adding a message to the list of messages, submit on enter, recite text area when you will want multi-line text to be sent. What else? Some HTML and Tailwind CSS. I do not use any UI framework here, just Tailwind CSS. I realized with age or with years of experience, I tend to use less and less of different libraries, dependencies, and try to do everything myself to keep it lightweight, more control over things. Okay, and here is probably the only external component, model selector. So actually, why don't we start with that and implement a better version of it? So let me open localhost for it. And I think I need to start the local server. Okay. Okay. So let's see. As you can see, env example contains only one environment. I don't want to show you guys my API key, but it's here in this file. By the way, I'm not sure if it's in README. It should be there. If you download the project, you need to create this .env and fill this key with the actual value. Okay, let's see if it works from the local. Hi. Okay, it works. Nice. I will close the terminal for now. And let's go to that model selector component. Oh, I haven't touched this code for months. I need a moment to recall it. So, GPT-4. We can do simple select. I think that would be enough. By the way, since it's my first live streaming and live coding, I might stress and I might forget things. and I make stupid mistakes. Sorry about that. I think over experience or over time, I will get a bit better and better with it. Okay. So I will keep GPT-4 first, GPT 3.5 second. I need to set value for it, which will be this enum value. And almost same here, but GPT-4. Okay, on change, it should set it. Um, so we should bind the value to the model. Model, bind value, model. And on change, set model. Oh, it's so good. I have not Chat GPT, GitHub Copilot. Oh, so many AIs these days. So good I have it on my side, so I don't do those stupid mistakes I could do when I'm stressing without that. Okay, let's see. Select the tab. Now we would call it AI model. Okay, let's see. AI. It is selected. I think we need a little bit of padding. Probably EX4, maybe 6 or 7 or 6. Okay, how does it look now? Okay, maybe a little bit of padding on the right more than on the left. So on the left, let me keep it 2. Okay, fine. And padding right, let's do it 4. No, 6, almost. 8. Okay, 8 I think is good. Okay, nice. But I also see that it's not rounded. The corners are not rounded on the right. Why is that actually? Rounded MD. Rounded LMD. No, rounded all sides. Okay, do I need rounded here then? I guess not. Okay, and if I refresh, so right now default one is 3.5. Maybe a little bit more padding on the left, just so it's not that squishy. Okay, good. Now we need to set default model. It is set above. Let me find usages. No usages. Actually, how do I find usages of a component from inside component? In WebStorm, like usually it's either you, yeah, wait. Here I export it with a custom name, and from here I can click on it with command or control and find the usage. Nice. Okay, model. Okay, default is version 3. Let's switch it. Version 4, refresh. Which GPT version are you? Does it know? No, let me refresh it. Actually, I can check it through the backend logs. I just need to log it. just to make sure I did everything correctly. Okay. Okay. GPT-4. Oh, I used some preview. I think it was turbo preview. It might be, I need to update it. By the way, where is this set? Let's find it and replace with a more modern one. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me make this way. Okay, open AI models. Ah, it's still preview? Oh, okay. Well, then we should keep it this way. Vision preview. Understanding. Oh, I should try that one too. That's interesting. Maybe pricing for this one is a bit higher, but that's another topic. Okay, cool. Then we keep it as it is. Let me ask, are you GPT-4 or GPT 3.5? I actually don't know if it knows. Um, it doesn't know if GPT-4 was released. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I know I use the right one. It might not know. Or maybe I'm mistaken completely, but that happens. Okay, so that was done. Let me deploy. I should suppose to deploy from this terminal tab. Anyway, what was my deploy script? I usually forget how to deploy, so I make some aliases. So pnpm run deploy. Ah, yeah, I deployed to EC2 instance nearby here, nearby me here in Singapore. So if you are from US and you try this app and the ping is quite high, that's because the signal has to travel half of the world and then half of the world back to you. Okay, let's deploy it and let's see if it all works. Okay, it's still deploying. I'm just eager to see if deploy still works. Oh, I think I should start using ban. I tried ban when it was first released. I ran into some issues and then I kind of abandoned it for a while, waited it for to get a bit mature, fix some Docker issues it had, but it looked promising and it was much faster than current version of Node.js. So I'd like to give it a try. Actually, for this project to make WebSockets or server-side events, we need something else other than SvelteKit because SvelteKit doesn't support these things out of the box, as far as I know for now. Maybe in the future, or maybe I just don't know. But usually I use SvelteKit nowadays. In the past, I tried to use it for API too. It works for simple APIs, but if you need a little bit more control over it, if you need WebSockets, if you need let's say GraphQL or something else, usually it's either Express.js or Nest.js app running nearby, and they communicate. And I wouldn't call it SvelteKit supports WebSockets or server-side events, but rather Express or Nest. Anyway, so how are we doing here? Some warning. Yep, it's not yet accessible well, but it's barely an up, I'd say. So, by the way, guys, are you interested in self-hosting topic? because I started to be a big fan of it recently. By self-hosting, I understand hosting your apps on your own machine. It might be located in your home, or you might still uh, rent some VPS somewhere. It's less of self-hosting, but it's still you manage basically the whole infrastructure on a Linux machine usually, with as minimum dependencies from third parties as possible. So the goal is to be able to run it offline, to be able to run it uh, completely on your local machine without any dependencies on the cloud. Let's say a good example would be not using AWS SQSQ or AWS something else that is proprietary AWS specific stuff that you cannot run on your local, that you have to be dependent on the cloud. Yeah, so if you are interested about this topic, I might prepare some videos about it. Let me know in the comments. Meanwhile, how is deploy doing? It's stuck a bit. By the way, if we run into any issues during this live coding, well, because it's live, it's not edited, and I don't cut any things that, well, mess up. That means we have to fix it together if something is not working, and you will see how I fix things. Maybe something useful, maybe a waste of time, maybe you can learn something new for you, but for some people it might be not new, so that's totally okay. Please let me know if something from this video was useful. Maybe nothing was, I don't know. Oh, by the way, I totally forget I have chat because it's first stream again. Chara Franklin asks, what language is this? Um, JavaScript, TypeScript, SvelteKit framework. Um, Hopefully you're not referring to my bad English. It might be not very clear, I agree. Okay, so the deploy seems to stuck. I think it's almost done. So let me tell you a little bit about how deploy is done. We need to go to Docker file. This is where I define what Docker image will it run on in production when I deploy it to the server. So basically here it says it's Node version 20.4 on Alpine Linux, and we install pnpm, all production dependencies, frozen log file, so it doesn't suddenly download latest dependencies and break something. And then during build step, we install all dependencies, copy all the code, build it. This is a small hack because it doesn't build without any value for OpenAI key. And then from the build stage to final stage, final, by the way, is based on base one. Wait. Depths, 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 I guess depths. So we remove any unnecessary stuff and only copy node modules without production, without dev stuff. It should be. Yeah, maybe I haven't finished it. Yeah, actually, I think so. Anyway, and the bundled application, and then we run it with node as is. Okay, so then in Docker Compose, we have Traffic, that is reverse proxy. What it does is it basically serves HTTPS. It watches what domain the request came from, in this case is sage.antonshubin.com subdomain. And then if domain equals this one, it serves this app. This app builds from that Docker file I just showed. It is limited in resources, so you can set how much RAM and CPU you want to allocate maximum. You can also reserve some, but it's nothing like I need here. Also, I define end file with that OpenAI key, and that's basically it. I just say which port the application is listening on. So we don't open this domain and then colon 3000 to access this app. Okay, basically that's Docker part. And other part is we need to copy the code base to remote machine, to Linux machine where it's all serving. So I use rsync, which is a plain simple copy and synchronization tool between machines, especially used on Linux. This is address of the server. This is folder where it will be served or be living. We only include files whitelisted in this file. So let me show you. It's all the sources, static, package.json, but no unneeded stuff, like we ignore node modules, we ignore .sweltkit, husky, dist, everything that is not related to the sources. Okay, what else? After the file's been copied, you can see this first copy step and then run step. During the run step, we again connect through SSH, jump to that folder, build it. By the way, it might fail during the build stage. If that fails, the old version of the app is still running. So that means it's a bit safer than stopping the old version, building it. So there is downtime in this case. I don't want downtime, so I build first. And then when it is successfully built, I say compose to update to a new version of the image. Okay. Maybe it's some internet connection that is a problem here. Let me run it again. I didn't have issues in the past, so it might be just some internet issue. Okay, so first, as I said, we copy files. Is my internet working? Yes. Let me check it. Google.com. Okay. Interesting. Maybe my server is down, but hey, here I open it. Oh. No, it's actually down. Okay, well, that's one thing you should know about self-hosting. You have to handle everything yourself, which means it requires knowledge to do everything right. And if you screw up somewhere, you have to figure it out yourself. That's not that hard to do. So, okay, let's go into console.aws and let's see what's going on there. So I want to sign in using root email address. All the passwords. Okay, here we are. Region Singapore. Yes, let's go to EC2 instance. Here it is running. I use just plain T2 micro, the cheapest one. So if it's stuck like this and it doesn't go up automatically, it means it might use more RAM that it is supposed to use. maybe during build step. And what I want to do in this case, I want to reboot the instance. That's the first thing you might do. Alternatively, you can try SSH into it, but here I see it cannot. SSH means all the resources of the instance are taken. I'm sure it's possible to see in Amazon EC2 the resources like CPU or RAM, how much it is taken now. I need to learn this part, to be honest. And I might be learn it together with you and become better version of myself. Okay, successful rebooted. Docker configured as a way, so if the server is rebooted, Docker will also start up and start all the containers, which is probably in progress yet. But alternatively, we can just try SSH into the server. I'm curious to know what's the reason of this downtime. Hey, I need to add more features during this live stream, not just one simple component change and CSS changes, please. Yeah, well, if something goes wrong, it goes wrong. That's life. Okay. Well, let's try dive in together into it. So I want to observe, let's say, CPU of the server. So there is CloudWatch, as I remember. And somewhere here, this is logs. I want metrics, no log groups. EC2. Status check, system fail, blah, 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 blah. CPU, oh shit. CPU utilization. That's all I want. At the search. At the search. Okay. Well, I might mess with this one, and I don't know how to fix it now. So, well, I'll figure it out what went wrong with the deploy after this live coding, and I'll let you guys know in the description or in the comments what was the issue. But the beauty of this independent code base that I can still run and develop on my local, even if this third-party stuff servers are down. Well, in this case, only third-party stuff here is OpenAI, and OpenAI is up. Okay, so let's continue development then. So what do we have? We have better model selector, GPT-4 by default, retry on failure. Oh, okay, that's what my wife asked me for. Stream the answer. That's what I'd like to utilize TurboRig before. Keep track of chats. Not sure if we can do that this day. Okay, let's at least do retry on failure, and then maybe I will wrap up this live stream, go figure out what happened with the instance. Yeah, I have better control of my home lab server that sits in the next room than over those EC2 instances. Well, that's just a skill issue. I need to improve that. Anyway, let's proceed. So if OpenAI fails to answer, that means we should add a retry. So simplest retry would be just some recursion function, something like that. Let's see. Here is catch. Retry. Okay. So 429 means too many requests. It's HTTP status. Retry. Okay. I don't know if that's the error OpenAI returns when it fails to give you answer, but we don't know. And it's hard to reproduce because it only fails for my wife. I need to implement this solution, check it with my wife. If it works, then okay. If it doesn't work, I need to figure out what are other statuses that we might need to support. Alternatively, instead of guessing, we can go to OpenAI chat completion error codes. Okay, let me make this bigger. Okay, invalid validation, incorrect API key. Rate limit reached for requests. That's not what usually happens. Like, we don't use this app intensively to reach rate limit for my API key. I think the limits should be either in usage or in settings. Settings. Something is working badly on OpenAI side today as well. Well, anyway. So since I'm not sure if it is just 429 error, let's just retry once. So depth, too many recursive calls. What was depth used for? I guess it's for function calls. Yeah, a function can call other functions. Okay, so here in case of error, simplest way would be to set this depth to this number, but we should be good engineers and not mess other mechanics. So let's say retries. And if retries more than 3, too many retries, okay. Retry. The tries plus retrying. Okay, maybe yeah, that should be much better because we should also fail if this line froze and retries more than 3. We should not try retry the failed retry, if that makes any sense. Retrying, retries. Okay, fine. Okay. To try simulate that, let's fail in 50% of chances. And let's see if system can handle that. So 50% chance of fail to check retry logic. Okay, now let's just chat. Hey. Random error. Okay, where is retry message? Wait. I should do it not there, but inside this try catch block. Yeah, that should be right. Okay. Retries once, twice. Okay, it seems it worked. How are you today? Retries. Okay. I should also provide this retries. Okay, because here what happened is it probably could retry forever in case we don't provide any any value for it. Okay, and if it is a recursion function call, we also should set retries. Okay, try again. Okay, now it says retries 1, retries 2. Let's see if we can get 3 retries and then fail. Maybe we need to increase the chance of failure. Yeah, let's do that. So in 90, no, 90 is too much. In 80, with 80% chance it will fail. Okay, retry 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm not feeling well. Okay, again. It should work at least once. Oh, it worked from first try. Awesome. Okay, so that's simple retry logic implemented, and I think I will wrap this live stream here. I don't want to, guys, you mess with me trying to understand how CloudWatch works and this metrics. I think it will just take a lot of time, and I probably need to watch some videos of how it is done. I guess the problem is the machine I'm using, this EC2 instance. Where was it? Hey, can I go back? Because it's T2 micro, and I host multiple apps there, and it has only 1 gig of RAM. It might be not enough, and the new deploy and build failed due to the lack of RAM probably, and it cannot restart. Am I right? I guess. Oh, it started working. Well, maybe I'll try deploy now again. Let's see. Can I SSH? Can. Okay, while we are inside the system, let's watch the CPU and memory. So right now it is almost 300 megabytes of 1 gigabyte memory used. CPU is idle because it is doing nothing. Okay, here let's use deploy for deploy. So now you can see it copied the files, and now it restarts Docker. Docker builds a version, and we can see that CPU is used 100%. RAM goes up, but RAM is still 600 and going up. So if it hits this number, it might die, and that's what happened last time. Where is it? Here, render in chunks. I guess it all will just freeze. Yeah, it has frozen. Well, okay, we figured out I need more RAM for this machine. I'll go and do that. Meanwhile, thank you guys for participating. I'd like to do more of these live streaming videos where I do some simple coding, lazy and chill. Maybe I share some useful information, or you see how as developers do things. I would be happy if you learned anything useful from this. Meanwhile,